Okay, so all across Europe, corporate reporting is going through this huge shift. And if that term, ESRS materiality assessment, has suddenly appeared on your desk, well, you've come to the right place. We are going to break down exactly what this is, how it works, and why it's so much more than just another compliance headache.
Just think about it for a second. What if your company had to report on every single sustainability topic you can imagine? I mean, the carbon footprint of the coffee machine, the water usage of every single employee, the entire life cycle of every paperclip. It would be a total avalanche of data, right? An overwhelming, impossible task? Well, that is the exact chaos the new European reporting standards are designed to prevent.
So how do we stop that reporting madness? Well, that's where the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, or CSRD, comes in. This thing is a real game changer. It basically says companies can't just throw a random list of green topics in a report anymore. Nope, they need a structured, defensible process to figure out what truly matters. And that process is the materiality assessment.
So how do you decide what actually matters? The entire ESRS framework, all of it, comes down to one really powerful concept: double materiality. Seriously, if you get this, you get the whole thing. It is the absolute key.
Probably the easiest way to think about double materiality is to picture a two-way mirror. If you look through it one way, you see your company's impacts on the world, on people, on the environment. But then, if you look back from the other side, you see how the world, with all its sustainability challenges, is having a financial impact back on your company.
So here's the bottom line. A sustainability topic is material, which just means you have to report on it, if it's a big deal from either of those perspectives. It could be your impact on the world's impact on your finances, or, as you see a lot, both at the same time. Let's break these two down a little more. Impact materiality is your inside-out view. You're looking from inside your company out at the world and asking, how are our operations affecting people and the planet? Then you have financial materiality, which is the outside-in view. You're looking from the outside in, asking, how are big trends like climate change creating real financial risks or even new opportunities for our business?
And here's the thing. These two views, they are not separate worlds. They are deeply connected. A significant impact on the environment almost always comes full circle to create a financial risk. The example here is perfect. A company pollutes a river. That's a clear negative impact, right? But that impact can very quickly morph into a financial risk through massive government fines, cleanup costs, or brand damage that absolutely tanks your sales.
But listen, there is a really critical point here, especially when we're talking about people. The standards are crystal clear. For human rights impacts, how severe the potential harm is matters way more than how likely it is to happen. This means even a low-probability event has to be considered material if the potential harm is catastrophic.
So what does severe actually mean? Well, the standards break it down into three parts. First up is scale. This is all about how grave or intense the impact is. Second is scope. This asks how widespread the impact. Are we talking about affecting 10 people or 10,000? A small park or an entire ecosystem? And third, and you could argue this is the most important one, is its irremediable character. In other words, can the damage be undone? Because an impact that's permanent is, by definition, profoundly more severe. All right, so that's the what of double materiality. Now let's get practical. How do you actually do this? The great thing is the official guidance lays out an illustrative 4-step journey to get this assessment done. The whole process follows a really clear roadmap. You start by understanding the world your business operates in. From there, you identify all the potential issues, then you assess them using that double materiality lens we just talked about, and finally, you report your findings with total transparency.
So the first couple of steps are all about laying the groundwork. You start by mapping out your entire universe, your own operations, your suppliers upstream, your customers downstream, and all the communities you touch. From that big map, you create this huge long list of every possible impact, risk, and opportunity, or IROs, as they're called.
Steps C and D are where you actually make the call. You take that long list of IROs and you systematically run it through the double materiality filter, applying those thresholds for severity, likelihood, and financial size, until you're left with what is genuinely material. Then you report it all, what you found, how you found it, and what it all means for your business strategy. Okay, so you've got the steps, but beyond that, there are a few essential principles. You can think of them as the rules of the road that you absolutely have to follow to make sure your assessment is credible and compliant.
Let's talk about the three big ones. First, this is not just about what happens inside your own four walls. You have to look at your entire value chain. Second, you must engage with stakeholders. Why? Because you can't possibly know all your impacts without actually talking to the people you affect. It's the only way to find your blind spots. And third, you don't have to start from square one. The due diligence work you're already doing, that's a fantastic place to start.
So you might be wondering, where does ESRS fit in with everything else that's out there? Well, and this is a crucial point. It was not created in a vacuum. It was cleverly designed to connect with the other major reporting frameworks that many companies are already using.
And honestly, this is fantastic news if you're already doing sustainability reporting. If you've been using the GRI standards, all that work you did on impact gives you a massive head start. And if you're getting aligned with the new ISSB standards, you're going to find the financial materiality side of ESRS feels very, very familiar. The goal here is alignment, not making everyone reinvent the wheel.
And that brings us to the final and most important question. You see, this assessment isn't just a box-ticking exercise. It's a strategic tool that forces you to take a long, hard look into that two-way mirror we talked about. It asks a really fundamental question.